So you're thinking of moving to Salt Lake City. Have you considered checking out the suburb just south of Salt Lake City? You might want to. In this video, I am going to show you around Herriman, Utah. I will take you through some of the neighborhoods and I will show you a few different price points of homes in the area so that you can see what will fit into your budget. If you stick around until the end, I will educate you on the varying different housing types and the difference between the potential restrictions you might find if you choose to purchase in a PUD or an HOA, which is very common in Herriman and becoming much more prevalent in Utah's growing real estate market. By the time we are through today, you will have a much clearer understanding of your options and the pros and cons of each. This will help you make an informed decision when you purchase. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything about living in Salt Lake City, Utah, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to know about the current market in Salt Lake City, Utah and the surrounding suburbs. My name is Janet with Living in Salt Lake City. We get calls and texts every day from people just like you looking to make a move to Salt Lake City, Utah and surrounding suburbs, and we absolutely love it. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. My information is in the description below so that you can make a smooth move to Salt Lake City, Utah and surrounding suburbs. So as I mentioned, we're in Herriman, Utah, which is a suburb just south of Salt Lake City. It is about 30 to 40 minutes from downtown Salt Lake and also the same distance from the International Airport. Today I will be showing you 4 homes in 4 different price points, so let's get started. Okay, so today we're in Herriman at a cute little neighborhood called the Boulders at Rosecrest PUD, and I wanted to just give you a little insight into this neighborhood. I'm going to show you some driving footage so that you can kind of figure out what it feels like and looks like. We're going to talk about amenities and a little bit of pricing in the area. So in this exact little neighborhood, there is a home listed and it has 2 bedrooms and 2 baths, and it was built in 2006 and it is listed for $330,000 and it's just right around 1,100 square feet, just to give you an idea of what to expect in this actual neighborhood here. So it's not very big, but maybe that's exactly what you need and what suits your needs. So I have found the following information has been very useful to my clients in making a purchasing decision. I want to clarify the difference between a PUD and an HOA. These are mostly common in townhomes and condos, but they are quickly becoming more prevalent in single-family homes as well. Before we dive into PUDs and HOAs, let me start by clarifying the differences between the different property types. So a single-family home typically has private land and no HOA. Occasionally, a single-family land will have a PUD, but they will not include monthly fees. Typically, this includes benefits surrounding amenities such as trails, for example. The potential negative effects would be the covenants and restrictions that might accompany the PUD. So some common examples would be no parking on the street, certain types of fencing as a requirement, and other such rules. The idea is to maintain the value of the neighborhood by complying with certain standards. As Utah is evaluating its lack of supply and demand and limited space to building, it is becoming much more common to have a single-family home neighborhood that includes an HOA. Hang tight and I will define the difference between a PUD and an HOA. So back to defining the type of homes. So the best way to define or recognize a townhome is a home that shares 1 or 2 walls with the adjacent home, but they each have their own entrance. In an HOA-run townhome, the association owns the land on which the townhome sits. In a PUD-run townhome, a homeowner, rather than the Homeowners Association, owns their building and land. So different townhome communities offer varying amounts of private land. Sometimes you can have a small private yard, and other times you will have a small private patio, but very little yard. And then there's always the ones that are just community areas and there's no personal yard at all. A condominium, or a condo for short, involves an individual unit within a building of other units. Condo owners jointly own areas such as pools and garages and gyms. Imagine an apartment building, but each individual apartment is individually owned. So there's no personal yard space, only shared. Now, let's clarify the difference between a PUD and an HOA. When making a purchasing decision, it is important to understand what regulations or rules and the benefits that you will have if you choose to live in a PUD or an HOA. So let's start with the definition of each. A PUD in real estate is a planned unit development, which refers to a small community that can contain many types of homes, a single family, townhome, or condominiums. A few advantages of living in a PUD can include land ownership. In a PUD, a homeowner, rather than the Homeowners Association, owns their building and land. PUDs allow much more freedom to use within certain guidelines, so you have much more convenience. PUDs offer walking trails, sometimes they offer extended sidewalks or bicycle paths and wider roads so that you can get around easier. Less common but possible is some private amenities. So PUDs can offer more private amenities and common ground than a typical HOA, such as a grocery store, restaurants, or privately owned roads and more. So some of the disadvantages of living in a PUD include the restrictions and the covenants that are involved. So the restrictions can be imposed regulations on your homes, like appearance, your landscaping, your home additions, quiet hours, pets, and uses of public spaces. So proximity to other houses could also be an issue. Homes may be located much closer together than in some more traditional neighborhoods. So there is one key difference between a PUD and an HOA, which I said, but I'm going to repeat, and that is who owns the land on the property site. So PUDs offer a more traditional home ownership with the right of the structure than an HOA does. So in a PUD, individual owns their land, lot, and common areas. In an HOA, the association owns the land on which the home sits. So for example, an HOA might enforce strict rules such as pet rules or parking rules, or your ability to rent the home, or even what offer type you can get if you were to sell your home, and the same thing with your exterior on your home. So HOAs are striving to maintain the property value and make sure that all the homes look similar and tidy. So it is impossible to understand the role an HOA plays in other types of single family homes and in a PUD, such as townhomes and condos. But the bottom line is that if you like the idea of living in a small community that offers many types of dwellings and lots of amenities, then you might be looking at something like a PUD. Just remember that if you have a PUD and it is run by an HOA, that the residents must join in contributing to those HOA fees. In the end, it will be important for you to make sure that you feel comfortable with the PUD or HOA requirements. So you will want to clearly understand what's expected of you as a member of the community before you buy. We are at the Rosecrest Village PUD neighborhood. It is fairly close to the one that we were looking at before. These are a little bit larger homes. So these homes are listed at $559,000 and around there, because there's one in the neighborhood listed at that. And they're 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, and they were built in 2012, and they're just over 2,900 square feet. Some of the features that you might like in these homes, a lot of them are 3-story, and something that people really look for that these homes have is like all of your living on the main. So you have like your family room, open to your dining room, open to your kitchen, so you can keep everyone together and do some great entertaining. And then you also have a walkout basement. So if you ever wanted to have family, or you wanted to have a total stranger live with you and you wanted to rent that out, it does have an outside entrance. So that is a really nice feature. It does have an HOA that includes a pool and a clubhouse and some other amenities. There are some walking trails that are really close, and then you are right by the mountain corridor, which makes it really easy to get to where you need to go. So yeah, it's a really interesting neighborhood. So I have a client who got married a little bit later in life. He had never had any children, and when he got married, he became a dad of 3 teenage boys. He said he found it easy because he felt like a grown-up boy himself. His wife started talking to him about purchasing a home. His initial reaction was complete fear. He didn't really understand the process. He was nervous that he wouldn't be able to qualify, and he just didn't know what to expect as far as a house payment would go. So he resisted for as long as he could, and then he finally agreed to meet with me. We got together and we started to review the purchasing process. I was able to answer his questions, and I gave him the next steps so that he could meet with the lender. This way he could review his numbers. I assured him that I would keep him in his comfort zone when it came to his monthly payment. Once we had his numbers and a pre-approval from the lender, we started to look at homes in the area that kept him close to work and let the teenage boys stay at their same school. We saw a few homes, and then we found the one. The one that he could imagine barbecuing in the backyard, the one that was close to his work and his kids' school, the one that had the right number of bedrooms so that everyone could have their own space, the one that made his wife smile and giggle when she stepped in the kitchen. So when we received keys, I asked him how he felt, and he said, "I can't believe I waited until I was 60 years old to buy my first home. My only regret is not doing it sooner." We recently talked, and he said that he is so proud that he will leave a home and a legacy for his children and grandchildren. He has been encouraging his children to buy their first home as well. I believe that homes and people match. It is like a love connection. I love guiding my clients to the one. Okay, so we're in the Rose Crest single family subdivision, and this is in a PUD, and that has to do mostly with the trails that it has in the subdivision. So there is a home for sale in this exact neighborhood. It is listed for $798,000. It is a 2-story, and it has 4 bedrooms and 4 baths. And it was built in 2007, and it has just under 4,000 square feet. So just to give you an idea of what you might find in this single family neighborhood. So something very interesting about this home is that it is coming right back into trend because it has browns and tans. So we are moving away from the grays and from the painted cabinets or even the white cabinets. Although I would say white is very traditional. If you're ever gonna pick something that you want to always stay on trend, white or cream tends to be all the ones that you'll see in the movies. So pay attention and you will see, if you're watching a cute little romantic movie, you are gonna see their cute little kitchen with white cabinets more likely. But currently the trends are back to either your alder, your maple, or your oak, but you're gonna have them stained. They might have naughty alder, but that is what is coming back in trends. Okay, so I am in the Overlook subdivision in Herriman. This is a single family neighborhood, and there is a home currently listed for $1,400,000, and it has over half of an acre. It is listed with 7 bedrooms with 5 bathrooms, and it was built in 2010, and it has right around 6,300 square feet. So Herriman is a place where you can still find land. So if you have horses, or if you just like to have larger land parcels, you still can find single family homes in Herriman that are offering half acres, 1 acres, even up to 2 acres. So this particular home that's listed, one of the unique features that it has is it has a full ADU, which is an accessory dwelling unit, meaning that it's kind of like a duplex because you could actually rent to someone else and they could be completely independent with a separate, obviously their own kitchen and laundry room. So there is something to consider about this beautiful neighborhood in Herriman. Utah has the largest average household size of 3.5 people per household. This is compared to the national average of 3. Utah is considered one of the most fertile states in the nation, where families have more children on average than other states. Utah also has the highest average number of children per family at 2.5. So while most states have between 1 or 2 children, Utah birth rate is 14.9 births per 1,000 people, the highest in the United States as well. So I will say that it is not uncommon to have neighbors that have 6 or 8 children. At one time, Utah was known as the youngest state with a median age of 32. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, this has changed because of the declining fertility rate and also the aging adult population, which means that Utah is getting older. I have found that purchasing a home really defines a person's lifestyle. I have some clients who are married with very active children. They have 1 son and 1 daughter. Their son is heavily involved in soccer and their daughter is a competition dancer. When we got together, we knew that the main qualifier was to be in the same neighborhood as her sister and her mom, because besides her and her husband's work schedule, it was going to be impossible to get the kids back and forth to all of their activities. So if they live close to family, they could carpool, or they could convince their mom to help take and pick up the kids from their activities. We found the perfect home. They love it. It is a 2-story. They love having all the bedrooms upstairs and the living space all together. Now they enjoy inviting people over because every time they get together with family, they can all gather in the dining room and those in the kitchen can still have fun and be part of the conversation. We've also helped his cousin and her best friend find a home in the same neighborhood. So now they feel like they have a huge network and they all help each other because their children all participate in the same sports and in the same activities. All right, to wrap things up today, now that you have seen several homes in Herriman City and you've learned the difference between PUD and an HOA, and also along the way you've learned the different housing types, does Herriman lifestyle feel like a match for you? If you need more information, you will want to watch my Herriman map video and also the Herriman pros and cons video so that you can learn more about Herriman City. Remember, if you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and we will be happy to help you make a smooth move to Salt Lake City, Utah, and surrounding suburbs. Until next time, I hope to see you around town.